Welcome to Acton SAT, where you can self-study to success. If you think the ACT or the SAT is testing what you learned in high school, you are only half right. Of course, they use the knowledge you acquired in high school, but the purpose of these tests is to differentiate people so that the colleges can evaluate your academic ability quickly. So if you aim to study faithfully to your classroom material, you will not get a high score you desire. The tests are in essence different from classroom teaching. For example, both the ACT and the SAT heavily penalized for careless mistakes. Every question is designed so that untrained test takers will fall into the trap of careless reading or thoughts if they do not pay attention. Most importantly, the strategy you need to learn for these tests is very different from classroom settings. I'll give you the most important strategy you need to learn for the ACT and the SAT. That is, learn to do the vertical scan. What is the vertical scan? There are 4 to 5 answer choices for every question in the ACT and the SAT. You need to become familiar with identifying the relationships among the answer choices. Your goal is to note the similarities, differences, and other patterns among the options. Why is the vertical scan important? Because it enables you to sort out incorrect choices quickly. For example, have a look at this sample question. If you simplify the like terms, it will take you about 30 seconds to calculate the whole thing. However, if you learn to vertically scan the options, you can shorten the time to solve each problem as little as 10 seconds. Instead of reading horizontally for each answer choice, scan vertically. Then you can notice certain patterns. The first pattern you can see is that A and B have 2x squared y squared. The second pattern is that A, B, and C have negative 6xy. And the third pattern is that only D has 9x cubed y. There are many ways to approach, but for one, see that the like terms of x cubed y have 2 different numbers in front of it. 5x cubed y and negative 4x cubed y. So these terms cannot cancel each other. We see that A, B, and C are wrong because they don't have x cubed y terms. Only D has a similar term of x cubed y. Without even calculating fully, you answered correctly.
Wow!
My point here is that the skill required for the ACT and the SAT is vastly different from the regular school learning. This applies the same to every standardized test with multiple choices, such as the GRE, the GMAT, the MCAT, or anything. I'll give you one more example of a vertical scan for the English section of the test. Here we are given a phrase, pet adopted from farms. Let's read the options in few columns. The first pattern you notice is the difference of punctuation in the first part. Options A and D have nothing, option B has a dash, and C has a comma. The second column you can read is at the end of the phrase. Options A and B have nothing, but options C and D have a comma at the end. That's how you should vertically scan for the ACT and the SAT. You can pinpoint the similarities and differences among the answer choices. Then you can eliminate the wrong choices accurately and quickly. Now that you learned the importance of the vertical scan, let's solve a sample question, shall we? Pause the video and try to solve this question with the vertical scan. Which of the following is a circle equation in the xy plane with the center 2, 0 and the radius with the endpoint 1, 3/5? Scan the answer choices vertically. Note the 2 patterns. 1. The first term differs. Options A and C have x plus 2 squared, while options B and D have x minus 2 squared. And the second pattern is noticeable at the end of the equation. A and B have 34 over 25, while C and D have different fraction values. Now let's ask, what is the equation of the circle? It can be written as x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where the point hk is the center of the circle and r is the radius of the circle. Since we are given the center of the circle as a 2, 0, we can easily identify that it must be x minus 2 squared for the x part. So eliminate A and C and we can choose between B and D. What about the r squared value at the end of the circle equation? To get the r value, you need the Pythagorean theorem or the distance formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Since the center of the circle is 2, 0 and the radius of endpoint is 1, 3/5, the equation is r squared equals 1 minus 2 squared plus 3/5 minus 0 squared. But you don't need to calculate it completely. This r squared value will have a fraction with the denominator of 5 squared or 25. Whatever the value of the numerator, the denominator will be 25. We already scanned the answer choices vertically and only options A and B have a fraction with 25 as the denominator. Therefore, B is the correct answer. So the key takeaway is eliminate answer choices one by one by comparison when you do the vertical scan. Avoid full calculations whenever you can. Practice comparing the options vertically and find the 2 or more patterns. That's the key to getting a high score in the ACT or the SAT with enough time. Hope you liked the video, smash the like button and subscribe to this amazing channel. There will be more videos coming up. See you again.